Hello, everybody. This is Wannakie Woman, and today we are discussing the latest drama and gossip revolving around the 1998 satirical film The Truman Show with my friend Ellen Peterson.
Thanks for having me. The first time that I saw The Truman Show, I was completely shocked to see that another character in the movie seemed to be mirroring my every move as I watched the film myself. Both of us were lounging in our bathtubs. It just goes to show you how much the media seems to truly know you.
Well, that seems a bit strange, but yes, I enjoyed the film as well, however, not from my bathtub. I thought the show captured an interesting and unique concept by having the plot centered around Truman, a boy born and raised on television in a world only he knows as reality.
Throughout the film, Truman goes through everyday life, unaware of the fact that he is being filmed and watched by a worldwide audience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nonstop. For many years, Truman never suspects that the friends he knows, the wife he's married to, and even the friendly neighbors he greets every morning have all been constructed to give the real world audience some entertainment.
How rude. I can't imagine being in Truman's position. It was so difficult for me to understand the director's perspective and how some people so easily accepted the manipulation of an individual's entire life.
I agree. I would never want to be in Truman's position either. I also found it weird that it took him so long to notice the glaringly obvious product placement and advertising that were scattered throughout almost every single aspect of his life.
Yeah, I found that strange too. I wonder if I would have noticed if I were in his position. Sometimes it was pretty obvious, for example, when Truman became suspicious of his wife's endorsement for the hot chocolate he drinks.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new low cocoa drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mount Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners. What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to? I've tasted other cocos. This is the best.
Hell, does this have to do with my Tell me, what's happening?
Yes, but it isn't always easy to distinguish things like that in today's society. We are so often exposed to product placement everywhere that it seems we have become oblivious to its controlling nature. Just the other day, I was watching an episode of Modern Family and barely even noticed Apple's strategic placement of their new iPad as the focal point of the episode. Not only that, but coincidentally, the episode was aired just 3 days before the store started selling Apple's new product.
Oh, I know exactly what episode you're talking about. The plot was flawless. The Dunphy family tried to buy their dad an iPad for his birthday, which coincided with the device's launch day. Of course, family members didn't pre-order it, so they tried desperately to satisfy their father's birthday wish. Phil Dunphy is a bit of a geeky dad and calls himself an early adopter. The fact that the new iPad goes on sale on his birthday is an additional effect to his desire for it. He even said, and I quote, "It's like God and Steve Jobs got together to say, 'We love you, Phil.'" End quote. The product was integrated in the plot, it was mentioned in different contexts, it was shown on the screen, it was used, and it effectively achieved the "I want to buy this product" effect. Now that you mention it, Ellen, I didn't even notice it as product placement at the time either. They weaved it into the plot so seamlessly that it was hardly even noticeable. Plus, I suppose with today's media, it's becoming harder and harder to be aware of what they are throwing at us.
I think another reason why I liked The Truman Show is because it poked fun at this flaw in our society today. The fake landscape that Truman lives in is a metaphor for our own media landscape, in which things like the news, politics, and advertising are becoming more and more of theatrical illusions, much like the world that has been constructed for Truman.
Good observation. Like the world the media has created for us, Truman's world is extremely convincing in its realism, with lifelike simulations like the sun itself and the fake sincerity of Truman's best friend. The world created for him is virtually perfect. There are almost no flaws that give away the illusion to Truman.
It's a pretty scary thought to think that we are so similar to Truman in our situation. Nowadays, it's so difficult to tell the difference from an illusion the media, politics, and advertising seems to portray to us and actual reality.
I would agree. We are trapped much like Truman is, but I think a lot of people haven't even discovered the illusion yet.
However, some people do effectively identify this problem in our society, like Conan. Just the other night, he made a funny satirical remark on his show about excessive product placement through a mock trailer for the new Avengers movie. For those of you unfamiliar with this, here it is.
Quite a stir among comic book fans. Now, I personally didn't like it. We're all used to product placement in movies, but in a movie trailer? Take a look.
This vulnerable world needs something more powerful than any of us. Everyone creates the thing they dread.
supervillains have you seeing red? Get the red out with Vicine. Available at your local pharmacy.
Although many may just see this as a form of entertainment, Conan actually makes a very valid critique on our society's product placement and the new consumer life we have become accustomed to.
Conan's critique is also similar to that made by The Truman Show. In The Truman Show, Truman is completely controlled and manipulated by his environment without knowing it. Today, consumers are constantly being manipulated in a similar way by advertising and other forms of media such as reality TV.
We are not under constant surveillance in the same way Truman is, or at least I don't think so. But information gathering on our behavior is growing daily. Our beliefs, our likes, our purchases are all tracked and are being used to provide us with exactly what we want, or think we want.
Mark Rosenman, a nonprofit sector activist, scholar, and professor, wrote an article entitled Commercializing the Public Good for the Huffington Post, in which he gives a good comment about society we live in today that relates to The Truman Show as well. In his article, he states, quote, "We need a society in which our government and our people embrace responsibility for the common good, and in which altruism and philanthropy are more a motivation in supporting charitable activity than in profit-seeking greed of capital markets."
Rosamond makes a good point in this quote. He identifies that people in our society need to take responsibility for the common good and hold it as more important than any profit-seeking efforts of companies and businesses.
This relates to The Truman Show because many people fail to recognize the problem with completely controlling an individual's life for entertainment. We, the viewers, know that the world surrounding Truman is all false and he is controlled at every turn, but he has no idea. However, it doesn't excuse the fact that we should know that such manipulation is wrong.
Yes, Truman is a very social person too. He believes the world around him is real because, like Christoph says, we accept the reality that is presented to us. In this way, Truman is very similar to people in today's society who have been raised in a consumer society and accept this society as the only possible reality.
The best part of the movie was at the end, though, when Truman faces his problems and leaves the fake world he has known as a reality all his life.
In case I don't see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Yeah.
Just like Truman, we all have a choice. The average consumer can either accept and continue to live in a manipulative social world because, as Christoph says, it is safe, or we can somehow try to resist the manipulative control of consumer society. So what will you do?
And who am I? That's no secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO.
Wannabe woman.